Opposite is true. If the natural world is real, then the supernatural world is super real. It is more real than this, not less. Let me give you a few examples of why I say this. First of all, the spiritual is more real than the physical. Let me give you an example. Suppose, for example, you meet some rough-looking guy and you look at him on the outside and you think to yourself something like, man, I sure wouldn't want to run into him on a dark alley in some city at night. But then you get to know his soul, you get to know his spirit, and you realize he's actually a teddy bear. He's a sweet guy. Now, what was more real? The physical impression that the outside made or the spiritual impression that the inside made? Absolutely. You meet some pretty face and you think to yourself, oh, she looks like such a nice, sweet person, like an angel. Then you get to know her and you realize that she's actually very petty and vindictive and spoiled and a real brat. So what is more real, the physical or the spiritual? The spiritual, obviously. Furthermore, the unseen is often more real than the seen. You know, sometimes we think something is an issue when really it's just a symptom of an issue that we don't see that's beneath the surface. For example, sometimes we'll hear about somebody who is taking aspirin for a headache when the whole time their real problem was a brain tumor. What was more real? What was obvious on the outside or what was hidden underneath? What was hidden behind the scenes, exactly. Sometimes a kid may be lashing out at his classmates when his real problem is the divorce that his parents are going through. So what's more real? What you see that's obvious on the surface or what's beneath the surface that's causing it? Yeah, the underlying cause is more real. And in the same way, the Bible says that the events that we see in this world are like shadows being cast upon this world from super realities that are taking place in an unseen world beyond our sight. And in the book of the Revelation, we've been seeing all through these last few months about how a seal is broken in heaven and an army marches over the earth below. A trumpet is blown in heaven and a plague is unleashed upon the earth below. A vial is poured out in heaven and fire falls on the earth below. So it's the events that are taking place in that super reality that are calling the shots of what takes place here, not the other way around. That's the real world. This is but what C.S. Lewis called the shadowlands. We live in a place where shadows are being cast from unseen events taking place in a reality that is far greater than ours.